Welcome to my first video actually recorded in 2025, as all of the January ones, they were recorded in December. But that's not all. Welcome as well to my new, not yet finished studio. I only have one light, so it will happen eventually. But today we're here to talk about something else. We are here to talk about something that I've seen thrown around in social media. So, hey, I'm not so ace trainer, and is there hope for Unova? Let's get into it. Through 2024, before Pokémon Day, we had two main future possible Pokémon things on top of the proverbial table. We were gonna get Johto. Kanto was revisited in Gen 7 and this was the following odd-numbered region, so we were 100% gonna revisit our beloved poor level curve having 2nd Gen region. Or, and this was for the most part the most accepted one, we were gonna go back to the region based in New York, the one that risked it all with the brand new roster of Pokemon that surpassed that of Gen 1. We were gonna revisit Unova. Either we were gonna have a remake or even two remakes, one for the main games and another one from Pokémon Black 2 and White 2, or we were about to have another sequel, Pokémon Black 3 and White 3. It didn't matter at all. The Gen 5 region, in all of its absolute glory, it was finally upon us. None of those things actually happened, and now we're waiting for Pokémon Legends ZA to come out on our Nintendo Switches, and finally, our Nintendo Switches too as well, and that's pretty cool, kinda like liking this video and subscribing to the channel, or so I've heard. But getting back to the topic, while the Johto talks have calmed down and I haven't seen anything about it in a long time, the same cannot be said about Unova. I keep seeing things about it. At first, I didn't care. It's probably some dumb 4chan post that's getting people riled up over nothing, or an extremely saturated thumbnail from the usual ones here on YouTube. But then, I saw something that is actually official. But before I tell you what, do you think we're ever gonna get those Unova remakes? Let me know in the comments down below. So, while Pokemon games are independent from whatever's going on in other forms of Pokemon media, like the anime or the TCG, the same cannot be said the other way around. Everything revolves around the games. So, I thought it was very strange when I saw that there's a Unova Celebration set with the Japanese counterparts being named White Flare and Black Bolt coming out on June 6th, 2025, with the English counterpart very likely releasing on July 18th. Yes, in 2025 it's gonna be 15 years since Pokémon Black and White officially released in Japan in September 2010, but in 2024 they did not really celebrate Pokémon Gold and Silver's 25th anniversary. They instead kept reprinting 151, a celebration of the original Kanto Pokémon, which might end up being the cause for Civilization's collapse in case you haven't been keeping up with the Scalper Wars. Still, you might be saying that, according to my previous statement, the games dictate the TCG and there's no way there's still a Unova game coming out before June 6th or July 18th. And I agree with you, I don't think that's a possibility at all. But I have lied, or at least I haven't told you the full truth. There's actually an exception to this rule. On January 14th, 2022, Japan saw the release of Star Birth, a set featuring Arceus V-Star and with a new mechanic, the V-Star Power. That was somewhat inspired on Pokemon getting a power-up, a bit of a blessing from Arceus, if you will, kinda like the Noble Pokemon. While the actual Pokémon Legends Arceus directly related cards came out only with the Astral Radiance set, the actual Arceus set was Star Birth and came out 2 weeks before Pokémon Legends Arceus was the game everyone was talking about. So, even if it is very slim, there could be a chance of the same happening again, just with a longer waiting period. But even then, it wouldn't be that much longer than what we had in 2021/2022. I think it all depends on when Pokémon Legends ZA actually releases. I have a video planned on that topic, but if the game releases halfway through the year, then there's no denying that Pokémon can definitely release something in November like usual. We still do not, and probably never will, know the reason behind the delay of Legends ZA, but the last time we had a Legends game, we actually saw two games being released within 2 months of each other, and one of them was a remake. The infamous BDSP came out on November 19th, while Pokémon Legends Arceus came out on January 28th. Something that just sounds insane and taken from the brain of someone experiencing some sort of Paras-related situation, but it actually happened. While it also seems insane to even consider that it could happen now as well, especially after the criticism that Pokémon received from the ZA remakes, it is important to remember that Pokémon Works is a thing and we still have no idea what they've been doing or if they have even been doing anything at all. What I mean is, the same way that Ilka worked on a Pokémon remake without us knowing and released it very close to the Game Freak game, the same can be happening right now and we would only find out during Pokémon Day in a few weeks. Pokémon has no issue when it comes to keeping secrets, because they know that it doesn't hurt their business side, it never did and it never will. I believe the key thing here is that they are choosing to celebrate Unova with a full set, and the middle set at that, which are usually sought after mostly by collectors and not as much by the competitive scene. With the current state of the Pokemon TCG collector scene, that's gonna be a lot of free publicity around the set, and that's free marketing for a region that has recently surfaced with Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet and Indigo Disc. That coming out on the second half of the year would also surely open the appetite of those Unova fans, and believe me, you do not want to leave Unova fans hungry. Because between you and I, Unova fans can get pretty crazy. I think the only issue with remaking Unova really is choosing the right approach. Do you only remake the originals when so many people prefer the sequels? Do you remake both and release them as a collection? Or do you release them in different years? Do you add something to put more focus on Kyurem and the OG Dragon, or do you save all of that for a Legends game? Do you even wait for a Legends Unova game before releasing a remake? What about the graphics? Gen 5 has a very distinct approach to how it looked, sitting in between 2D and 3D, and people have basically been demanding an HD 2D remake of it and of many other Pokemon games. Do you do this despite never really doing anything quite like it? Surely the game would look different from Scarlet and Violet, but do you go the BDSP route and cover your ears as the fans scream? Another thing, how do you approach the Dream World? Through a new app or Pokemon Home? Do you think about doing it through Pokemon Sleep, but then realize it is not that great of an idea? There's also the fact that the games are Nintendo DS titles, which creates an issue with releasing some kind of port of the originals on the Nintendo Switch because of the second screen, or even adding them to the NSO service, as the console is not a part of it at all. It is a very unique generation with a very unique set of obstacles. But Unova hasn't been forgotten, and I think we're gonna go there again very soon. The way that the Blueberry Academy had all of those little references, it isn't just because Easter egg cool, it is because they know that a lot of people find their homes in Gen 5 despite the issues that it faced back then. So Unova fan, cheer up, because the stars or the dragon carrying meteor might be aligning for you, and if it doesn't, well, at least you get some pretty cards. But now, well, now that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one. But before I go, a special thank you to YouTube members, Dash Plays, and Twitch subscribers, and Newbies Here and Lazarix for going that extra mile. From the bottom of my heart, thank you all so much.